Why is America selling Iranian oil? Iran has been under some form of US sanctions since its revolution in 1979. But during Donald Trump's presidency, tensions skyrocketed under his maximum pressure policy. Tehran called the campaign economic warfare.
No action taken by the regime has been more dangerous than its pursuit of nuclear weapons and the means of delivering them.
Downing the drone tells the U.S. Iran's enemies will be destroyed.
President Trump saying today that the American people will soon find out if the United States is going to war with Iran.
A U.S. airstrike has killed Iran's most important military commander.
Iran has issued an arrest warrant for President Trump and other U.S. officials.
And while Washington was ramping up its sanctions on Iran, it even profited from them.
Need an idea for a side hustle? Put sanctions on a country, pirate its oil exports, and sell it.
The United States recently sold more than 1 million barrels of Iranian fuel that it confiscated under its sanctions program last year. The vessels, which were seized near the Strait of Hormuz, were loaded with gasoline and headed for Venezuela, which violated US sanctions on Iran. But Iran says they had nothing to do with the ships and accused the US of waging psychological warfare. And earlier this month, the US intercepted another ship carrying Iranian crude oil. Washington filed a lawsuit to seize that ship and its cargo, saying they were part of a scheme involving Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and its elite Quds force. The plan was to ship Iranian oil abroad in violation of US counterterrorism sanctions, as both groups are considered terrorist organizations by the US. Washington says all the proceeds of the sale will go to a US Victims of State-sponsored terrorism fund. It also includes US embassy workers who were held hostage in Tehran from 1979 to 1981, and anyone who won a lawsuit against the country the US considers a state sponsor of terror. That's Cuba, North Korea, Iran, and Syria. The seizure of Iranian ships is part of the punishing economic sanctions the US reinstated after Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal in 2018.
That deal is an embarrassment to the United States, and I don't think you've heard the last of it.
And thus began a steady stream of sanctions on nearly every sector in Iran, which devastated its economy. But now, with Joe Biden calling the shots in the Oval Office, his administration is fulfilling a significant campaign promise.
In a joint statement, Blinken said the U.S. would consider rejoining the deal if Iran returns to full compliance. In another gesture, the Biden administration reversed Donald Trump's efforts to impose UN sanctions against Iran. It also eased travel restrictions for some Iranian diplomats.
But Iran is demanding sanctions be lifted first before any negotiation takes place. Now, with the Iran nuclear deal back on the table, it could mean an easing of sanctions on Iran. But with the high political cost of appearing weak, both in Washington and Tehran, it's still anyone's guess how things will turn out.